Hello, two or two go. And let's just recap our first um, video about letting go mechanism and what is letting go process is. So what is letting go and how we can describe this process. So letting go is a sudden feeling of dropping away with increase of happiness and freedom. So the example would be when in an argument, you suddenly realize that the subject of argument or the argument itself is just ridiculous, just absurd, and doesn't like we don't have to fight over it, and you feel this like sudden release, like I don't have to feel this like accumulated pressure. I don't have to feel pressure about it. I don't have to fight it. That's all silly, ridiculous, but just laugh it off. So this feeling, it's a natural feeling that we all experience at certain points in our lives. And when we continue practicing this practice, we become more in charge of our own feelings. We're no longer a victim or in no longer at mercy of the reactions and emotions that taken over when we get triggered. And then what's triggering us actually, why we get triggered? So there is this accumulated pressure of repressed and suppressed emotions. And again, we were talking about that difference between repressed and suppressed emotions. So the mechanism that our human body, mind, trying to handle the life, we come into this protection technique of repressed and suppressed emotions. So both of them is just pushing aside and pushing away the emotions that coming up due to situations that happening. The difference is that the repressed repression of emotions happens unconsciously, and suppress emotions consciously. And so it's for keeping us safe, keeping us comfortable and protected, keeping us small, and it's mostly based on guilt and fears. And the repressed emotions are just, it's a negative accumulation of the emotions on a subconscious level plays out as a somatic conditions, like emotional and moody and having this like nerve pains and all this stuff. This is all coming from suppressed emotions. I mean, repressed emotions and subconscious. And our suppressed emotions is where we're like in the midst of something and we cannot attend to emotion at this moment, so we can push it aside because we cannot start crying or having a moment just because something's coming up. So we suppress it, we put it aside because we can't attend it to now, but we never been taught or learned how to, that we need to get back to it and address it to let it go, and we kind of just let it rest under the rug. So when we do not attend our emotional body, and all this suppressed, repressed emotions create really strong pressure in our psychic and our mind. And our mind will always look to release this pressure, because otherwise we're gonna go crazy. And to release it, mind create the situations that will trigger the release of that emotion from your body through your subconscious programming. So when you feel certain emotion, you'll start screaming, crying, fighting, or do something to express that emotion, that feeling. So that's what's happening when you get triggered. So you express it, you release it at certain point until it becomes subconscious again. And it's you feel it's released a little bit, it go away for now, but it's still deep down within, because on deeper level we didn't release it at all. So this underlying feelings of anger, fear, guilt, whatever, shame, any kind of no self-hatred, self-doubt, those feelings create thoughts. So then we overthink, we tend to feel anxious because we keep thinking about those feelings that we're feeling, and creating more and more of this. And then we want to play it out, because if what you carry in your mind, what you think about, that's coming up, and because we don't realize that it's coming from us, then we blame outside world, the other people, for hurting us, or creating these feelings again and again. Why I keep attracting the same people, thinking that they're just coming to me because something, but in reality it's just like I attracting them because I feel that way. And so this letting go, surrender technique, and then what it is, surrender is to be free of negative feeling in certain area, and allowing creativity to flow and manifest without opposition of inner conflicts. So when you feel certain energy about something, you create that conflict within, because again, your feelings about certain things are very personal, subconscious programming, based on previous traumas, based on the lenses and perceptions of your, of the world around you, that creates certain programs, how you see things, and then it's all one after another creates other systems and matrix in your system. So to be free out of all the inner conflicts and expectations is to give freedom to others, treat them as you want to be treated, and again, surrender and letting go, allowing you to have space and hold space for others to do the same. And we will talk about those feelings next. And then let's see. So it covers like what is letting go. So this is a feeling that we experience when we release this weight, when we realize unimportance of the stress that we carry. And then how can we actually do letting go? What is the mechanism of letting go? This is a time when we being present with emotions that coming up, allowing them to be present in our system, allowing them to exist and deliver the message, allowing them be, without trying to change or shift or transform anything. And by creating this space for the feelings and emotions that you feel, allowing it to talk to you, express the lessons and the triggers and why and what. When we sit with it, we release the pressure of resisting the feeling. And then that what we resist, we attract. So that means when we're allowing the emotions be present and sit within without overthinking it, without expressing it, talking about it, venting about it, without really acting out on feelings, just pure observation and acknowledgement, creates this releasing pressure and creates this exchange. So then we're allowing that energy that came in at certain point to teach us something, to finally deliver its message, finally give you that insight. And when you're in neutral and surrendered state. That means you don't hate on yourself, on that feeling, and you don't try to get rid of it. So you surrender and you're just there to observe. And then that message comes through the release of that energy out of your system, and you having this exchange of energy. Maybe it brought us, some kind of DNA upgrade for you to kind of move on, but you've been denying delivery of the message for like so many years, and it's just like it was there, it wouldn't go away. And so we're doing this system, just allowing, just stopping resentment, resistance of any sorts and kinds, to allow the energy to play out its path and be released and let go from the system. In that, how we practice the letting go. Let's tune in, let's see. Yeah, I think we covered that, and let's talk about the feelings and the stress. So this is part 2. So we just were talking about the mechanism itself and on how we perceive this, and let's talk about how we perceive the feelings, right? Let me find in the book. Here we go. Stress, feelings and stress, and how this life events. So we're going to talk about more about how our mind creates the events to manifest the stress, and what is stress, and how our feelings, create our reality. Alrighty, so what is stress? Stress is a projection of our own unprocessed and repressed and suppressed emotions, and the fears that has been let out to release that inner pressure. So again, if we constantly going to fill up the bag with something, fill up the cup, fill up anything, like your body is only so limited by how much pressure you can carry, how much you can take. And when you really filled it up, it will try to find, it's like physics, right? It can be content, and after a certain point, and it will try to find in ways to release, to shine through, to leak through, to blow up. Maybe like if you blow a lot of air in a balloon, at a certain point it will pop, because it's no longer capable of holding that pressure, that air inside. And that's how our mind and our whole system works. So when we receive some kind of traumatic events, some kind of situation that where we didn't feel heard or understood or loved or protected, or whatever the situation may be, and we start feeling certain way, depending on our level of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and all that. And if we starting with the beginning, this is our childhood, of course we are not aware, and we just receive everything from our parents, upbringers, adults, society, other people, friends and family, everybody just being there before, and we were taught to listen and to believe and trust, because there is nobody else for us. So when we're little children, we receive the information from people around us, the way how it's been delivered. So we don't know if it's truth or false, because we don't have duality at this moment, because we don't know anything other than what we receive in our inner circle. And so when we do not process or we're not allowed because of the parents not emotionally intelligent at the level to give the children space to, learn to process the emotions. So we usually taught to shush it, to, keep it inside, push it aside, don't show it. Nobody wants to see you crying or whatever. So yeah, so imagine about like first maybe 15, 18, 20 years until we kind of becoming aware, or when we pushed to start doing the healing because of how bad we become starting feeling inside. So we want to kind of release that pressure consciously already by that time. But before that, we unconsciously keep hiding and suppressing, repressing, pushing aside all this unprocessed feelings. So the kids who felt treated unfair, or like emotionally abused or whatever. So all these feelings are transforming either to self-hatred, not being enough, not being good enough, not being loved, don't know how to be loved, don't know how to love. Then we're feeling shame, anger, blame, frustration, all the like primal expressions of anger, and all being cooked up in our system, in our body as an energetic blocks that were keeping us in certain patterns, because again the feelings that are kind of exist in our system, they will create these thought patterns. And so we're overthinking at night, and what we did wrong, what we said wrong, what we could have done better. We're creating the multiple scenarios in our head, creating these parallel realities, creating this energetic prints. Then when we attract this energy to what we were thinking, especially when we before sleep, if we're thinking about something very heavy and bad, this is really a good time for manifesting before you go to sleep. And then if you manifest something that you don't like, but again, we're not aware of that, and then we think that it's a fate, that universe is punishing us or doing something to stop us, or whatever. The mind telling us to blame the world outside because we're not taking responsibility of how we feel, what we think, and what we're giving our energy and attention to. All right, so we are fear of looking at those cooped up energies. Why? Because again, we have fear of kind of losing control. And again, I also started reading this new book about existential kink. So sometimes we like the things that societally not acceptable, and then because we can't allow ourselves like something that is forbidden, this is a bad tone, then we creating this scenarios that where we pretend that we don't like it, we attract it, but deep down unconsciously, those suppressed emotions of like forbidden love, or forbidden joy of something that is forbidden. This kind of keeps playing out, and it's all unconscious, and consciously we like, what the heck is going on? Why I keep going through it? But unconsciously like, oh yes, that's what I need, that's what I want, that is all I'm focusing about, and that is all I can think about. So again, letting go is to let go of resentment to resentment. Let go of resistance to a resistance. Let go of any like negative labels, emotions, feelings towards what your being is experiencing, what your body is feeling, what your mind is thinking, what thoughts are coming through, what feelings you have, and what emotions you have. So judging yourself for having certain emotions, again, creating this block on releasing that emotion. And then again, we create in our reality through our feelings and thought. And then if you constantly filled with guilt and regret, you feel and you see the world as a sinful place. Everybody like bad and sinning and making you sin, and you you don't want to sin because you feel guilt and you're trying to run away from all this world, this terrible place, right? Or if you're a fearful person, you see world as a terrifying place. And again, it's a confirmation that whatever you're holding inside of your heart, of your soul, of your mind, this is coloring your world, your reality. So through what lenses you see, through fear, guilt, and shame, then you see those reflections, those situations and moments that are coming into your 3D reality. And so, yes, pressure seeks this cracks in your system to leak out and create those moments that will trigger you into expression, into releasing certain amount of that cooped up feeling, that suppressed, repressed emotion, just to the level of it becoming subconscious again. So you kind of feel better at the moment, release a little bit, kind of feeling like after you've been holding to the bathroom for so long, and then you finally get the chance to release it out, and you feel this kind of release. Maybe bathroom is not the best, because yes, you release, but then it's still coming back, it's still there. Maybe it's a good example. It's always coming back, because in the deep down on the core of your feelings and emotions, you might be enjoying this scenario, that feeling that you forbid yourself to enjoy. And then, or maybe it's just like because you can't let go of certain anger or feeling or some kind of grudge, and then you keep rebuilding this situation, and it's just coming back in different shapes or forms to trigger up that grudge to come out. And just your body, it's a kind of interesting. I just get in this, like, your mind wants to keep you safe and familiar, and so it just creates it's a computer, so it creates patterns and programs for you to run smoothly through life, and don't worry too much about things, and be content and quiet, and just doing what you programmed to do, just run the scenarios. And then your body is energetic, but like energetic machine that is electromagnetic. So it's operates on certain frequency, and when we have too much this cooked up and repressed energy, that is kind of creates disharmony, disbalance in the physical body energetic frequency. And so the body will look for the ways to release those imbalances, because it's really intelligent, and it heals itself. The body heals itself through frequency, and then when it's finds the frequency it needs to go, it's trying to create that opportunity for it to let go. But then the mind kind of jumps into it to create the resistance, create the like, oh, whoa, why are you like ruining my program? Why are you trying to create something here? Like, just allow a little bit of expressing that feeling, in, just to enough to kind of, balance out for the moment. But we're not allowing, the mind does not allow to complete shift and transformation. So that's where we stepping in as a like angel of the body, as their higher self, as the observer of this situation. And we kind of creating space for the mind feel comfortable in letting go of the programming, and the body have the opportunity to really like balance out. And then that's a good information that just came through. All right. And let's talk about like resistances. Like, why do we have resistance? Like, we know in our body that, in our mind, that we really want to let go of the things. We really want to change our life. We really want to stop being miserable. We want to change. We want to grow, express, and be somebody who we want to be. And why do we resist ourselves? Why do we stop ourselves in tracks from achieving? So again, we're coming back into the subconscious part of okay, let's see. Yes, so the mechanism of our self, the mind having to protect us and creating this patterns, the ego. So ego takes responsibility for us, for like a human life, to be certain way, because ego thinks that it's in control of life. This thinks it's kind of can change the how things go, and then it gets too much into power, so it kind of becomes blind to what actually life is bringing. And because a lot of fear of losing that control, a lot of fear of this illusional control, losing the illusional control by ego, prevents, yes, creates a lot of stress and creates a lot of like more fear, and it's kind of piling up, created a lot of layers of boundaries to protect that little ego that thinks that it's in control. So, and resistance comes in from ego because it feels threatened, because you are finally starting taking control back. You are finally awakening to like, hold on a minute, like, why is this little ego is telling me what to do? You start remembering that you are you, and then the thoughts and this whatever, like all the, because some people don't have the dialogue, don't have this alter ego, full on a loud. Some people do, some people don't. So, but still, we still have this energetically, those resistances, or those patterns and ego present either way. So ego will resist all the changes. So you mind your like voice, or if you don't have a voice, it may come. I'm not even sure how, guys, you get them. Maybe like you have a feeling, or or you kind of have a fear, or something will come up to distract you from that intent of healing and growing. So you will be like maybe oversleeping, or like forgetting to use the technique, or maybe you'll start escaping by like, venting about the emotion instead of letting go, or like getting distracted and scrolling, or like whatever. So the steps through through letting go of this resistance, it's a let go of resistance to resistance itself. So again, it's about controlling your inner state. So creating the space between the resistance to, for example, starting doing the resistance, or like resistance to change. For example, you used to like talk about your emotions, like talk it through, like boil it down and put it into the like kind of dig into it and like try to logically understand. And you used to like, you feel a kind of a certain satisfaction. So when you like overthink things and tap into these things, and you kind of understand it, and that's how it gives you like some kind of control and like release that, like, okay, I know it. And then you decided to stop overthinking, start over analyzing, and you decide to start letting go. So resistances will be, your own thoughts will come to this like logical explanation about that, like this mechanism is not working, like it doesn't make sense. How come I can't like talk about it? Because it was helping me all the time, and it's pretty good. I'm good at it. Overthinking, and I'm just like, no. And so when you feel the resistance, you feel that like your own thoughts telling you to not do it, then that's a moment when you start doing the letting go, as you are just breathing and acknowledging, okay, I feel resistance to do this practice. I feel resistance to stop talking about it or stop thinking about it. And then you just be there, okay? I'm not gonna resist that resistance. Okay, I feel resisting to talk about it. Interesting. And you just go on with your day and just give the space and visualize it's like a white space in that part of the body where you feel resistance, right? So you have to start tuning in into your body so you can really be in tune and feel like, oh, I feel in resistance, kind of left shoulder behind the heart, or like it's under that rib, or is it like lower back, or is it shoulder, or is it elbow, or is it neck? And you just bring in this white space there, and it's like, okay, resistance, you here, and I'm here too, and just do next. But then in practice, you will notice how that resistance will dissipate because you don't resist it, because you let it. Okay, I resist this. It's okay. It's okay to resist. I understand. I never practice this new practice. Maybe I'm fearful what if it will work, and then I'll change all my life like suddenly. And you can feel the fear coming up. Oh my God, everything will change. I will be a different person. How am I gonna be? And like you start in this hyperventilation. Your ego starts like, oh, what's gonna happen if we stop doing the things that we've been doing all the time? And then yeah, and when you allow this to be, you be with it. You listen all these thoughts. Maybe journaling is very good, or just like talking out loud to yourself to hear it out. Like, what are the fears that coming up? What are the like excuses or explanations of the fear? Like, for me, I'm very logical, so I will like logically explain myself the reason of fear and why I feel the fear, and what the fear. And then when I hear it, I like on the back of my head, I can feel that like, this is ridiculous. I hear myself saying it, and I understand that like, this is no reason to fear that. This is just like imaginary fear. And then I'll be with it. And I was like, Okay, I ignored the thoughts. So when I found out their underlying feeling of the resentment, when I find out what exactly am I afraid of, what exactly I don't like, or what exactly the root cause, and maybe do it like one feeling at a time, because then you can take one by one. So once you dig out what exactly is the block, what exactly is the feeling, where it's located, kind of, and just be with it, and then from that moment you stop listening to your thoughts. So all this resentment will come up, and you will start with step 1, allowing it. Step 2, be with it. Step 3, ignore the thoughts. If new thoughts coming up that you can't ignore, again, come back to step 1, allowing it. Resistance coming from the resistance of the resistance. So once you release the resistance of resistance, then you have that tool to work through the steps, allowing it, being with it, ignoring it, and just noticing. The more you ignore it, and the more you kind of creating this space between this chatter, fearful, trying to push you off that liberation path, put you back into the scarcity, you ignore that thoughts. And you repeat it as many times as you need until you feel that it's no longer have control over you, it's no longer creates pressure, it's no longer something that you trying to hide or push aside or deny, or deny its existence, create resistance again. So every single annoying thought, every single annoying, pattern coming from underlying feeling in your system. So when you can identify what it is feeling creating that thought, what the feeling creating this anxiety, what is the feeling creating this depression, what exactly am I feeling right now? And then allow it to be. Be with it, listen to it, like, while you're here, what happened, right? So there's a lot of inner child healing, past life healing, ancestral healing to tap into deeper levels of that. But in the end, it's all here and now, because everything in quantum field happening now, and those dots from all the timelines and all the, all over the universe, they are all connected here now, because you're present here now. And so you have access to all the information, and then the more you listen, the more allow it to exist, to be, the more it will express itself, so you can get that answers about the reasons. And sometimes when we realize that maybe back in when we were 2-3 years old, something happened, and we had this mental picture, embedded in our psyche, and that created certain belief or certain, feeling or thought. And then when we realized, oh, I was just little, and of course, whatever happened, and now we know, okay, it's not a big deal, as we look at it as an adult, and we heal our inner child, and that little girl or boy just mentally oh yeah, okay, there was not a good situation, but look at you, you survived, you grew, you expanded, it's okay to let go. And there's the healing coming right there. And then you just taking a few deep breaths and allowing this to dissipate. And again, releasing and letting go of resentment of the change. Sometimes when the healing is so close to us, sometimes I feel like it's too easy. Sometimes it's too easy to just let go, to allow the feeling to be here, ignore all the resentment thoughts, all the doubts, and just feel okay with feeling a certain way. And then noticing how this feeling is no longer as strong as it was, and it's no longer triggers us, and it's no longer a problem, and it's just this dissolves. And then next time you come to the situation that before would trigger you, before would pull up all this emotions, but now you don't have resentment, resistance to that emotion. And so when it comes up, you're like, okay, I feel this, and that's, yeah, I understand why I feel this, and I don't like the situation. So now you have a choice to either put a boundary, to kind of, cut off either people or stop being in this situation, or really feel into maybe it's not as bad as we feared, and then allowing again things to come up that are coming up at the moment, to just look at this, observe, be with it, and let it just do its work. Because again, everything is for a reason, and I'm a believer that all the situations that's coming to you through people, through life events, through thoughts, movies, lines of the somebody's talking, you can hear some words and they create some kind of reality, or like create some kind of message that you needed to hear. And everything that's coming up, every information as a frequency coming for your body to give you an upgrade, to give you that healing, to give you that boost to move forward in your life. And then if you resist the energy that is coming, it can't leave you until it's fulfilled its purpose, and then until you let it do what it's here to do. And then that way you coming back to being in the flow, because you are in union with the universe. And so everything that's coming to you is a gift from the universe. And we as this humanity were taught to only like and accept positive frequencies, and reject and fear and run away from heavy energies. And again, it's nothing good or bad, it's just different frequency in our bodies. Not very liking, like it doesn't feel comfortable feeling certain feelings, emotions like pain, fear, like heavy, deep emotions, and we just never were taught how to handle them. But again, in the end, we are here to experience the full spectrum of experiences, and the faster we can realize that instead of resisting the things that's coming through, we need to learn how to ride that horse, right? How to handle that situation, how to take what needed for you from the situation, and not get attached to inconveniences, some changes. And again, it's not the inconvenience, the change is needed, but our human mind likes to hold on to things, likes to get familiar and comfortable, likes to settle in and just sit in that cave and don't go nowhere, don't do nothing, and just be as it is at the moment. And then this is a battle of light and the dark. So we are bringing more light, and we are anchoring a lot of light in this earth, and we're shifting into new earth energy, and the sun is changing, and we're gonna be propelled more and more. So this is a great time to really get real good inventory of how you feel, what's driving you, what's in control of you. Some people just get triggered and they cannot come out of for a while of that energy. And that's where your power is, to control your reactions on the things that seems to be happening. After all, you attract and everything that happens to you. And the faster you shift your energy from negative energy to positive energy, and again, negative and positive is just the words, okay? It doesn't mean that they are bad or good. Is just, again, our language is very limited. And when we speak some words that have a little different meanings, So take what resonates, take what really finds the truth in your heart, in your soul. And you are very powerful and able to heal yourself. And I'm here to help you find that strength, find that courage, and heal yourself, heal your emotional and mental state, and be happy and content and at peace with yourself, finding your purpose, living the purpose, and creating more love, connections, and just calling in heaven on earth. All right. Thank you for being here with me. So this was a volume 2, part 2 about our letting go journey. And the next episode, we will start talking about that scale of an energy of emotions and see about how they are connected and how they are expressed and show in our life. And then from there, we're going to start working on every emotion to try to learn how to accept it and let it go and surrender. All right. I hope you are having a great week, and I'll see you next time.